Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Tulley, President and Executive Writing Coach at Defend, Publish, and Lead. And welcome to episode 153, Dealing with End of the Year Busyness. I picked the topic for today's episode because I realized that all day long I was walking very fast, driving very fast, and just rushing all day long. And I started thinking through some of the strategies that I tend to use when I have several days like that. And with working with some of our clients in this particular week, this is getting recorded. The last is the week after American Thanksgiving, and so the last week in November, beginning of December. Many of our clients are coming to us with, comments like, I'm really stressed out. There's only a couple of weeks left in the year. My institution is, closing for a holiday break. If you celebrate any of the winter holidays, that might involve some travel. Parents that have children that celebrate a holiday like Hanukkah or Christmas, there's just a lot of things that are happening. And I know I can definitely, like everybody else, get sort of caught up in that and rush around and try to, get a whole bunch of things done and feel like, I'm not getting some of those things completed. But this afternoon, I really started thinking about what I can do to just kind of calm everything down with all of the busyness. And I went back to a couple of strategies that I've used in the past to think about how I really want to deal with the remainder of this semester. So for me, that's approximately a week and a half to 2 weeks left. So I'm in the final week of classes. It is the week before finals week at my institution. And then I have another couple days in that next week to get grades completed. But, all in all, there's not really that much time left in this semester. And so one of the things that I did was I said, you know what, I'm just going to take an hour, kind of go through all of my classes and just see what's happening with my classes right now. Do I still need to grade some things? What are problems I'm having in some of these courses? So for example, one of my assignment sheets for a final exam didn't link, stuff like that. I spent some time just kind of figuring out, all right, what really needs to happen here before I can be finished. And the other part of that was really thinking about, okay, it seems like I have all this stuff to do, but now there is an end in sight. So that might mean I have to grade 56 essays, or I need to submit an agenda for a end of semester meeting for a committee I'm in charge of. I might have some edits I need to submit to a publisher, but there is a little bit of an end point when we come to the end of both the academic year, but also a semester. And, at this point, I think just kind of taking that quick stock to see what's really out there, even if it's a lot, just getting that list, because you can see that there's probably an end in sight for some things. I know that's been a strategy that's been helpful, and we've actually talked with some clients just about doing that. So, for example, if you're a PhD student, you're working on your dissertation, maybe you really can't do anything about that right now. You still have maybe a year and a half to go, maybe you have 2 years to go, maybe you're graduating in the spring. It's not this semester. For people that are graduating this semester, that is a different story. You're probably not going to be able to avoid busyness, but it's not happening this particular semester, there may be some ways that you can kind of slow down, take stock, look at whatever it is that you still have to do, and move from there. Another thing that I've deliberately tried to do, I didn't do it very well today because I was rushing around today like everybody else, but I know last year, and I'm going to implement this again, I really tried to make it a point of being very slow, like walking slowly, driving slowly, doing all the things that I can slowly. So basically resisting that urge to rush. So, for example, I'm still thinking, oh, well, I've got 20 minutes. I can cram in 10 other tasks and things like that. And yes, I did do that this morning, but all the rushing around and the busyness certainly didn't make me feel really great. And honestly, one of the things that happened that caused kind of a domino effect for me later was that I rushed so much that I messed something up that it now has to be redone. It's not an easy fix for the thing that I messed up this morning. So I basically gave myself more work by rushing. And I know that every single time I've hit the garage with my car or done anything like that is because I was rushing. And so, at least for me, and I'm in winter weather in Ohio now, I don't want to fall down on the ice because I'm running around. So, really thinking about just slowing down. One of the ways I've been able to do this and be a little bit more deliberate about it is, for me, I've kind of taken it upon myself to be listening to some instrumental jazz that's just kind of relaxing. That might not be what you want to do, but I know for me, that's something that has really helped because anywhere I'm driving, even if the traffic is all around me crazy, because it is the winter holidays here in Ohio, I live at an institution. We don't have public transit. A car is the primary way I get around, and I'm in it all the time because of the stage of life that I'm in with parenting and school pickups and things like that. And I know for me, this afternoon I did do that when I went to pick up my daughter from school. I just drove very slowly. I didn't really worry that people were cutting me off or that traffic was horrible or the line at Starbucks was leaking out into the main road and everybody had to go around. I just didn't bother myself with it. And I know tonight I had my final class with one of my graduate courses, and I took the time tonight to just be very, calm. Just this is what's happening. Let's look at how much time we have. What can you get finished? And kind of walk through some of those behaviors. And I think, there is something to kind of like faking it till you make it. I know that it really did kind of turn my particular day around and thinking through, how this might go forward in the remainder of the December days. One of the things that I'm really going to look at is just what has to happen on each of these days. And again, I know I mentioned this in a previous episode, but when is sort of my hard stop that I'm not working? When am I taking a few days off around these holidays? And at that point, I know, I'm not going to work and I'm just going to set things aside for a few days. That said, one of the things that I do try to recommend to our clients is that sometimes, we'll have clients that will do that and then they don't really have a start date. And so it's very easy to kind of push back and say, oh, I'll start working on my dissertation again Monday of the next week or the next week. And, then a winter break stretches into, 4 weeks instead of 2. So I know for me, one of the things I do is look at my calendar. I've already done this and try to determine what is kind of the day I am back in the game. I am back at work. I am back to scholarly writing and working on the things I need to work on. So I don't know if this helps you kind of think through, but I might try to look ahead and see what days are extra crowded and see if there's anything that you can shed of sort of unnecessary responsibilities. I heard a really good podcast about just taking some time and thinking about what are your 3 priorities for the rest of December. What are they? So for some people, that might be, something that's a religious orientation if you're celebrating one of the winter holidays. For other people, it might be spending more time with family or visiting, elderly parents or whatever it is that you're doing. But just kind of thinking through what those 3 priorities are might be something that you can help to refocus. And that way, all the 56 other things that you need to do, if they don't fall into one of those 3 priorities, maybe that shows that it can take a back burner. It might give you some time to wait. So I don't know if this is helpful for thinking through some of the things, but I just wanted to share on this particular episode just some of the things I've been thinking about during this crazy busy week to see how I might be able to calm things down a little bit. Hopefully that helps. Happy writing.